Hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm a science instructor here at Driftwood Education Center. Now today we're going to be talking about plankton. Plankton are organisms that are too small or too weak to swim against marine or freshwater currents. Now many people think that plankton are super small microscopic organisms, and many are. For example, a copepod, one type of plankton, is so small that 285 can fit on this penny. Now some can get as large as 120 feet long, like the lion's mane jelly.
That's this big!
While not all plankton are microscopic, a ton of them are. Although they're tiny, there's literally billions and billions of these guys hanging out in our oceans. In fact, if I were to take up all of the living things in the ocean and weigh them, 90% would be microscopic plankton. To put this in perspective, if I gathered up all of these marbles, just one would represent all the animals that live in the ocean that we can see with our naked eye. This includes whales, dolphins, and fish. The rest would be all the microscopic plankton that we can't see.
Rachel, have you lost your marbles? Let's go catch some plankton for real.
Hunter, that's a good idea, but how are we gonna catch them? They're too small.
Well, luckily for us, I brought my plankton tow net. The plankton tow net is a device specialized in catching plankton. The netting itself is made out of a very fine mesh that allows water to escape, but the plankton are trapped. The plankton get caught in this little tube, which is filled with water, but hopefully by the end, it's also filled with a boatload of plankton.
All right, let's go.
Let's do it.
Welcome to our plankton lab.
This sample may contain a variety of different kinds of plankton. Let's take a look.
Many of the marine creatures that we're familiar with actually start their lives out as plankton, but then grow strong enough to overcome those currents. Those are known as meroplankton.
There are so many kinds of meroplankton. Fish, sea anemones, and crabs, just to name a few. Wow, we've caught a copepod. A copepod is a very common type of plankton found all across the world. Copepods, unlike meroplankton, will stay planktonic for the entirety of their lives. We call this kind of plankton holoplankton.
You know, copepods are also called zooplankton, and that means that they have to eat other plankton in order to live.
Does this copepod look familiar to you?
Well, if you are a fan of SpongeBob, he might remind you of our favorite grumpy friend, Sheldon J. Plankton, who's actually designed after copepods.
But not all plankton are out to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula. Some are up to something way more important.
Plankton are essential for the ocean's complex food web. Without them, the base of the food chain would be incomplete, and the larger creatures that we know wouldn't exist today.
The blue whale, the largest organism to ever exist on planet Earth, feeds exclusively on copepods and krill. They can eat up to 8,000 pounds of plankton per day.
Plankton are only fueling our ocean animals, though. They actually help fuel our machines.
Believe it or not, if you've ever used a gas stove or ridden in a vehicle that uses gasoline, you can thank plankton for that.
When microscopic plankton, like copepod, die, they sink to the bottom of the ocean and form layers and layers and layers of dead plankton. And over time, pressure, heat, and time make chemical changes happen, and it turns them into the oils and natural gas that we use today that we call fossil fuels.
Speaking of fossil fuels, I got a jet.
Oh, you're right. Thank you so much for all your help today.
Anytime.
Right now, our oceans are facing big changes. There's a ton of greenhouse gases built up in our atmosphere, which traps in a lot of heat. And as our planet heats up, so do our oceans, which changes oxygen and nutrient availability. This negatively impacts the plankton that we love. But you and I can do our part to slow down these changes. We can reduce our greenhouse gases by reducing how many fossil fuels we use. So next time you're headed for the car, just think, is where you're going within walking or biking distance? If so, lace up your shoes, or grab a helmet and hit the road to help some of our ocean's smallest friends. Try your hand at catching plankton in our Merely Plankton class here at Driftwood Education Center and see what you can discover in our coastal classroom. Check out our Facebook page next Thursday for our next environmental video. See you there!